Good morning, students. Take out a social book. Lesson number 10, Our Water Resources. Water is essential for all living beings to survive on earth. It is used for different purposes such as drinking, bathing, cooking, washing, and for growing crops. Children, as you know, water is very important for all the living beings to survive on this earth, and it is used for many purposes such as for drinking, for bathing, for cooking, for washing, and for growing crops. Rain is the main source of water. The amount of rainfall received in different regions of India is not the same. There are areas where rainfall is often very poor. There are other places where it is too much. Now, rain is the main source of water for human beings, and the amount of rainfall which is received in different places of a country is not the same. They are very different from each other. Some places of our country receives very less rainfall, whereas another places of our country receives too much of rainfall. We need water throughout the year to grow crops, so it is necessary to plan the use of our water resources properly. Now, we need water to grow crops, so it is very important to use the water resources with planning and properly. Now here is the map. I'll show you the irrigation and river projects of our country. These lines which are in red, they are irrigation and river projects of our country. Irrigation in India. Now irrigation means the process by which water is brought to soil for growing crops by different types of means such as tanks, wells, canals, and dams. Now at first we'll go to the tanks. Tanks are the oldest means of irrigation in India. A tank is a small reservoir made by constructing enclosure of walls to store in rainwater. This water is used for irrigation in dry season. Tanks are mostly used in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, and Odisha. Now, tanks are the oldest means of irrigation in India, and it is a small reservoir made by construction enclosure of walls to store rain water. And tanks are mostly used in the states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, and Odisha. Wells and tube wells. Wells are dug to bring the underground water to the surface. To extract underground water, we use electric or diesel tube well. To bring out water from the well, partition wheel is still in use at some places. Irrigation by means of wells is carried out in Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Gujarat. Now wells are made to bring the underwater ground to the surface, and to bring out the underground water we use different types of means such as electric or diesel tube well, water well, person wheel. And irrigation by means of wells is mostly done in Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and Maharashtra. Canals. After canals and tube wells, canals irrigation is the second most important source of irrigation. A canal is a man-made channel through which water from a river or a stream is diverted to agriculture field. Small sub-canals called distributaries are also made from this purpose. Irrigation by canals is done in Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Assam, West Bengal, Rajasthan, in some states of South India. After wells, the second most important source of irrigation is tube wells, and this tube wells is man-made channel through which water from river or stream is taken to the agriculture field, and the small sub-canals are called distributaries, which are made for the purpose of irrigation. And with the help of irrigation, farmers of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Assam, West Bengal, Rajasthan, and in some states of South India grows very good amount of crops. Now, dams. Dams are walls built across a river to hold back the flow of water. These walls have special gates which can be opened or closed to control the flow of water. Water is stored in an artificial lake behind the dam. Canals are dug to take this stored water to the fields. The main areas irrigated by such canals lie in northern plains, central India, and coastal areas. Dams are walls made across a river to hold back the flow of water, and these walls have some special gates which can be opened or closed to control the flow of water, and the water is stored in artificial lake behind the dam. The main areas irrigated by such canals lies in the northern plains, central India, and coastal areas of our country. Multi-purpose river valley projects. When dams are used for multiple purposes, they are called multi-purpose projects. Such dams serve irrigation, fish breeding, raising forest, producing electricity, and navigation. Besides, they check floods in the area. Also, beautiful picnic spots and boating centers are developed near the projects. Now, multi-purpose river projects are made for several purposes. That is why it is called multi-purpose projects. It serves irrigation, fish breeding, raising forest, and the production of electricity and navigation also. Besides, it also checks floods in the areas, and it is also the picnic spot and boating centers. Some important multi-purpose projects, the names of the rivers on which they are built, and the states which are being benefited are given in the table below. Now, some of the important multi-purpose projects in our country are given here, such as the Damodar Valley project. It is built on Damodar, Jharkhand, West Bengal. The Phakranangal projects, it is in Satluj, and Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan. The Hirikund projects, it is in the river Mahanadi, and it is in Odisha. The Kosi River Valley project, it is in Kosi River and it is in Bihar. The Chambal River Valley projects, it is in river Chambal, and it is in the state of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. The Thangabandra river very project, it is in Thangabandra river, it is in Karnataka, Telangana. The Nag Arjuna Sagar project, it is in Krishna river in the state of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. The Sardar Sarovar project, it is in river Narmada in the state of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Rajasthan. The Bees project, Indira Gandhi Canal, it is in river Bees Satluj in the state of Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan. Water conservation. A major portion of fresh water available in India is lost due to improper usage and conservation methods. Water conservation is of prime importance in a country like India, where people depend on rainfall for their agriculture and domestic needs. Now, water is very important for us to stay alive. So, for that, fresh water is also needed. But because of some our mistakes, we are not using the fresh water properly. So most of the time, the fresh water of our country is wasted. So there are some ways of conserving water. Now, how we can conserve water? Here are some points. Now I'll read out the points. Storing as much water as possible during the rains by constructing dams, reservoirs and tanks. Number 2 point, preventing water pollution. Number 3 point, avoiding sewage drains near water bodies. Number 4 point, using groundwater economically. Next point, practicing rainwater harvesting. Next point, minimizing the use of chemicals like pesticides. Next one, taking care that bore wells should not have any gaps around them. By planting more trees, it helps the water cycle to be maintained. Cutting down of the forest should be discouraged. Treating wastewater from factories to remove all pollutants before releasing them into the sources of water. Treating sewage properly before disposal into the sources of water. Now, rainwater harvesting. Here you can see in this picture the rainwater harvesting. Now, what is rainwater harvesting? Let us see. Rainwater harvesting is a technique to store the rainwater without wasting it. Now, rainwater harvesting is a technique to store the rainwater without wasting a single drop. Rainwater collected on the traces of concrete building is diverted to the surface soil through pipelines. Now, after the collection of rainwater on the traces, rainwater is diverted to the subsurface soil through pipelines. Water thus collected in the soil becomes part of underground water. Now the collected water in the soil becomes the part of underground water. Now, dear students, I am going to give you homework, and your homework is number 1. Why is the water essential for all living beings? And homework number 2 is, what is the oldest means of irrigation in India? With this, I am going to conclude today's lesson.